remember somewhat early. Okay, so you have to check your answer. You got to plug in the number to make sure it works in the original question. This one does. So then, let's circle our answer so everybody knows x does equal 3. Next question. What are we going to do to both sides? Add 1. The cube root, 2x minus 9 equals 3. Then you have to think what the inverse operation of cube root is. What's the inverse operation of cube root? Take it to the third power, cube it. When you do a cube root to the third power, those cancel each other out. We get 2x minus 9 equals 3 times 3 times 3. 27. What? Add 9. So we get x equals 18. But I don't know if that's true unless I check it. So we do need to check these. Again, sometimes they won't work. We'll put in the cube root, 2 times 18 minus 9 minus 1, hit enter, and it should equal 2. Or you can do it by hand like I'm doing it by hand on the board. I'm going to check. When you're ready to go on, turn the page. Okay, pick 2 of them. You pick 2.
Only 2.
You checked them already? You did them and did the check. Don't give him your answers. So this first question, you're going to add 9, and you get the cube root of x equals 3. Then you raise it to the third power, which gives you x equals 27. Then you check it by doing the cube root, 27 minus 9 equals negative 6, and that checks. The first answer is 27. Second one. Square root of x plus 25 is already a radical by itself, so the first thing I'm going to do is just square both sides. That's going to give me x plus 25 equals 4. So x is negative 21. And then we plug it in, and it checks. The last one I'm going to divide by 2. We'll get the cube root of x minus 3 equals 2. And then we take both sides to the third power. So we get x minus 3 equals 8. Add 3. So x is 11. And that one checks also. If you plug it in your calculator, check. Okay. This one here, we're going to definitely want our calculator for this one. We're going to put in 54.5 in for the V of p equals 6.3 times square root 1013 minus p. We're gonna solve it. What are we gonna do first? Divide by 6.3. Get rid of that number that's not under the radical. Okay, you're not doing that by hand, are you? You're doing it in your calculator, right? You're dividing that on your calculator?
Oh, that's easy, Matt. You're telling me you can't do that in your head?
I'm not saying I can't. Oh, no, I can't do that in my head. What's the answer then, huh? Nope, no calculator. Do it by hand. Just kidding. All right, so you do it, and then you see how I get this big long decimal? You do not round that. You do not round it. You do not round it, because we still have to use that number to find the answer. This is not the final answer.
Calculator now.
We do not round it. So if you want to write it on your paper, it'd be a lot easier to write it if it were in fraction form. So on your calculator, let's go math, enter, enter. That is the exact answer. 545 divided by 63. That's the exact number. It is a fraction. It is okay that it is a fraction. It's not our final answer anyway. So what should we do now? Square both sides. Is that going to be a nice, pretty answer?
No.
But that's okay. We can leave it in our calculator. So I'm going to hit this. I'm going to take that answer squared. Do you see how I just did answer squared? I didn't even have to retype it in. I just said answer squared. Enter. And it gives me my fraction answer. If it doesn't give you a fraction answer, then do math, enter, enter again. Do not use a rounded answer. Do not write it as a decimal and round it yet. We got 297025. Over 3 something. Oh, 297. Over 3969. And what do I? I can't do two things at once. 39. I need the calculator right in front of me. I actually don't have to really write. I don't really have to write any of these down because I'm writing them down so you can see what I'm using. But really, I'm just going to do this on my calculator the whole time. What am I going to do now?
But you got to show your work on the paper.
You got to show some work, yeah. I'm going to subtract 1,013. When I subtract that, I will be left with negative p. So when I subtract it, I'm going to also have to change the sign from the answer. So on my calculator, whoops, I meant to hit that. On my calculator, I'm just going to hit minus 1,013. So it's taking the last answer. I'm not rounding it at all.
And then you times that by -1.
Or divide it by -1, either. Right? Yeah, you can try to do math, enter, enter, but your calculator is like, all right, this is way too big of a fraction, I'm not doing the work. So, but it's okay, this is our final answer, so it's all right that we now round it. It is our final answer, it's okay to now round it. So our answer is approximately 938.16, and then figure out the units.
You just post it.
In the question, it asks you to find like air pressure in millibars, whatever that is. Does anybody know what millibars are?
Something with
It sounds sciencey, yes. I haven't studied millibars, so I'm. the reason why we went through this is because use your calculator and use the exact answers, don't round things early. All right, this is what I was warning you about. When we square both sides, it is, on occasion, we will get what are called extraneous solutions.
English?
It's not happening today. I think it's because I'm turning older. Extraneous solutions. See the first 5 letters of extraneous? Extra. You're going to get extra solutions sometimes. Extra means you're going to get a solution, but it doesn't actually work in that equation. So it's really important that you check. There's no way of telling what's extra until you check the answer.